My name is Ruth Graham and I'm Development Officer for the Golden Thread Gallery, and at the moment one of the outreach projects we're doing is Draw Down the Walls. Well, Draw Down the Walls really is a project that's all based on partnership. It's a partnership project designed to create dialogue and conversation about the interface walls that are mainly in North Belfast. There's a number of groups involved. There's North Belfast Interface Network, the Lower Shankill Community Association, Deanby Youth Club, Ardoyne Youth Club, Ardoyne Women's Group, and Tarista, it's a prisoners group, so there's a number of groups involved. We would do things like take photos of what the other side would look like and hold them up, and just optical illusions, things like that, and also series of discussions and workshops with kids. The title is really just kind of a pun on drawing and walls, but we didn't actually mean to knock down walls, and we didn't mean to create permanent artworks on the walls. It's all about creating conditions for dialogue. The idea actually came about quite gradually. The Golden Thread Gallery used to be based up in North Belfast in the Brookfield Mill. A lot of the outreach activities we really hoped to try and engage the communities that were living in this area. It was an interface area the gallery was sited on in those days, but funnily enough at that time it was harder to engage community groups and build up trust in the communities just because of the location. You were always associated with either one side or the other. But when we moved down to this space here in Great Patrick Street, the communities seemed to see it as a more of a space that they felt comfortable in. We started working on summer intervention programs with the North Belfast Interface Network. They do work with kids in the summer months, in particular, to kind of stop rioting. And we did a short project in the summer. It was a calendar and film project, trying to engage young men who had been involved in interface violence in like a series of projects looking at how they saw the area, and that kind of triggered off this much bigger project, Draw Down the Walls. Using the arts to tackle subjects that maybe have become impossible to be resolved by other means. Like a lot of the times these topics are thrashed out in meetings and everybody has their side and their stance, and they sit there maybe with their arms folded and not wanting to discuss too much. But if they're approached with a different angle by using a visual thing, sometimes you can get fresh arguments and fresh discussions going. I mean, we've been using a billboard campaign, using artists to design billboards with groups, either with young people or with adults, to say something that they maybe want to say about their area. And these have been cited on like strategic interface areas, so that's raised a fair bit of debate. I think there probably needs to be more conversations first, because the thing that we get, I mean, the artists that are working with the groups get this, and the groups themselves always bring it up. It's not so much the physical walls, it's the kind of, it's maybe mental walls and just preconceived ideas. I think there has to be an awful lot more discussion and dialogue and just shared understanding, really. And also for, I think just to see it, there's other things besides walls that divide communities. Very often redevelopment and economic things are keeping people who would normally get together, keeping them apart through political means. It's very, very positive when you can see it at that level. You can see people realising that there are more similarities than differences. And I think maybe one of the points of this project as well is to not just deny the problems that have been, to understand them, and because an awful lot of the interface rioting are by young kids who don't really understand what they're rioting against, or with, or beyond, or whatever, but they're rioting against their neighbours, but they don't sometimes really know why, the kids. And so if the adults can maybe wise up a bit, and then hopefully the kids will follow on as well. When we started, we weren't really sure how big or how small it was going to be, and it has grown quite organically. We didn't start with all these same partners. They've all become interested at different stages and joined in the project, so it's still attracting new members, and that's kind of good. In fact, this morning we were just had to go on a tour thing with a group from Ardoyne, kind of from Deanby Road and different places there, so they were kind of interested to see how we'd approached it, and they were telling us a bit about what their project might do, so it's all interesting. I'm kind of coming back at the project from a distance because I've just been away, so I think today, doing that tour with the Ardoyne group, it kind of reinforced some things that were on my mind, because we went up Cooper Street, kind of around that area. It's kind of the route that a lot of the tourists would be taking on to look at all the murals up around there. There just seemed to be almost too much just put there, all these different things on the interface walls, and it just made me more kind of determined not to put up permanent public artworks about this project. I think it needs to be a process of change, kind of, and to reflect that change it needs to be like either in the form of billboards, words, actions, but nothing really too monumental at this stage. I think it all needs to be kept quite light and fluid, so that's really about it.